Hey, travelers. I'm not sure if you can see me or not because I can't see myself. But if you can see behind me, I'm in my house in Northwest Arkansas. And I think I have a unstable connection. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm going to try and see if I can see myself. Let's see how I see myself. I'm going to try and see if I can see myself. Okay, there we go. I got it. Perfect. What's happening, everybody? So, Nitzan Moser here, the traveling investor, and I'm coming to you from Northwest Arkansas on the lake, Beaver Shores. It's telling me I'm not live on Facebook. Okay, I'm going live. Oh, it looks like this broadcast was deleted on Facebook. Try creating a new broadcast. All right. Something's up on one of our on the Traveling Investor Facebook. Well, this is technology. This is what we have to do. But you know what? Let me put back up Facebook so I know what it looks like. And let's see how. All right. Very cool. So welcome from Northwest Arkansas. And I'm here at the house taking care of the stuff. It's a beautiful day today. I wish you could see it. The lake is right over there, Beaver Lake, and we're on Beaver Shores, and it's just a beautiful location. There's mountain bikers now. There's people out here. I've been looking at properties left and right because this area is exploding. Northwest Arkansas is the top 10 places to live in the U.S. right now, and it's great. It's beautiful. So let me know if anybody's out there listening to me right now. If anybody's out there, let me know where you're listening in from. It doesn't look like there's anybody here. But we're going to keep this and we're going to record it. So what I wanted to talk about is, how do you know a good deal is a good deal, right? How do you know? What are the metrics to understanding what a good property is? Because we're looking at value add properties, right? Things that we can throw money at, that we can add value, that we can renovate, we can fix, we can clean. And by doing that, by getting rid of management inefficiencies, by doing that, we get to now increase our NOI, our net operating income. But yet, how do you know when you're looking at a deal? How do you know that this is the one, right? What are some of the criteria? And I wanted to go over a project that we're currently working on, and I'm not presenting an offer. This is not an offer. This is not a solicitation. This is just for demonstration purposes. What does a good city look like? Because a lot of us are looking in the big major cities, right? Atlanta, Charlotte, Columbia, Greenville, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, Phoenix, all these major players, right? In the multifamily arena. So how do you know a good deal is a good deal? Right now, I'm going to show you a property that we're working on. Well, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to discuss two types of properties, right? And how you can tell which one is a good property, right? So the first one, right, which is what I mentioned, is a property, usually a C-class property, right? In a C-class property, you go in, you throw money in. Now, a C-class property is an older property, a property that's been around for a while, right? From the 60s, 70s. It hasn't been updated. It's got the smaller units, right? Different architectural design, different interiors. This is a property where we go in and we're going to throw a lot of money into the interior renovations, right? We're going to go in and we're going to start fixing up the interiors by putting in new flooring, new cabinets, new countertops, appliances, and all that kind of stuff, right? And then there's the class, I like to say, A minus properties to the A properties, where they're still owned by the developer. And because they're owned by the developer, they're usually at 100% occupancy, and rents are organically below market. They're below market. So in a property like that, there's really not much CapEx or renovation that is needed. However, this is a play where you can go in and you have your management inefficiencies, where you have the market that is pushing the rents up, and you've got a newer product. And when you bring in owner operators like us into a property that is owned by a developer, we see where the upside is, where a developer has already made their money on the development aspect of it. And now they're just trying to squeeze a little bit more cash flow out of it, stabilize it, maybe get the value of the property a little bit higher. But they're not owner operators. So they don't understand all of these management inefficiencies. They don't understand these other income that you can generate. I'll give you an example. Other income that you can add would be parking, dogs or pets. You can start billing back utilities. You can have for the Class A properties or even the Class C properties, if they're in an A location and you're trying to bring in that upper tier of renters that can pay more, you can throw in a tech package, which is keyless entry, keyless thermostat usage, USB ports all around, things of that nature. Just from those, right, you can accumulate around $100 a month. Now, let's take a property like the one that we're working on in Atlanta, in Buckhead, which is an incredible location. It's in the top. It is the number one hottest neighborhood in Atlanta. I can say that hands down. The property was built in the 60s. It's got that New Orleans style of balconies and the iron cast metal. Very cool looking property. It's got a nice pool area. But imagine if we went there and just increased 118 units by $100. Now, nobody's going to move for $100 because the moving alone is going to cost them more than $100. And they're not going to get the same rates. And it's a pain in the ass. So they're not going to move for a $100 increase. But let's just say we increased every unit $100. That's 118 doors times 100. That's $11,800 every month that you've just increased your bottom line, because your expenses are your expenses, right? Your electric is not going to go up. Your real estate taxes aren't going to go up. Your mortgage bill isn't going to go up. These are fixed expenses, right? So $11,800 a month times, let's be conservative. Let's only multiply that by 10 months. Let's say all the units don't pay their $100 for 2 months. Let's just take 10 months times 10 months. That's $118,000 a year. You've just increased your bottom line and your expenses stayed the same. So that is sweetness in your pocket. Now, how do you take that and add value to the property, to the actual property? You take $118,000 and you multiply it by 10. There's that 10 multiplier. So by doing a $100 increase a month on 118 units, you've just increased the value of the property by $1,180,000. How incredible is that? How incredible is that you can take a property and just by throwing in a pet fee, parking, build back the utilities, putting in a tech package, doing other, and that's not including raising the rents, right? So for example, this property in Buckhead, we can raise rents anywhere between $300 to $500 per unit. That's huge. See, so what I'm trying to say is, how can you spot an awesome deal? Well, first, you got to look at the location. First, you got to look at where does it sit? What city? What state? Where in the city? Where in the neighborhood? What's around it? You see, the Buckhead deal and the Wichita deal, our Class A deal, they sit, Buckhead sits in Class A++ neighborhood. Wichita, which is a Class A property, sits downtown on the Riverwalk, across the street from $120 million redevelopment Class AAA properties. Do you see how location is key? Actual physical location. Now, we know that the location is phenomenal. We know that the cities themselves are fantastic. Atlanta, we know Atlanta. We don't have to go and discuss Atlanta. But let me share something with you about Wichita that you probably didn't know. Wichita is #1 for job growth in the country. It's huge. It's the #1 tech center in the country as well. And it's a secret. No one really knows about it. I'm kind of letting the cat out of the bag now, releasing this information. But this is what we do, right? This is what you should be doing as well. You should be going out there and looking for the next emerging market or markets that are booming, but they're off the radar currently, because eventually they'll come on the radar. Now, it's Wichita, for example, has an MSA of 650,000 people. It's got aviation, 3 aviation sectors. It's got health sectors. It's got government sector. It's got tech sectors. It has multiple economic driving factors, just like Atlanta does, just like Buckhead does, right? They're situated in amazing locations. And then when you look around, right, and you're looking at all the other comparables in the market, what are you looking at? You're looking to compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges, so that you can say, what can we take our rents to? And obviously, on these 2 assets that we have right now, you can take rents and you can bump them up organically just by being there. But with the Buckhead, we're going to throw money into it and we're going to create an incredible asset. The Wichita project, we're going to throw in a little bit of money, tighten up the inefficiencies, raise rent, offer a few other amenities. We're going to make a little, it's a 70-unit property, so there's not a lot of people. So we can make a small gym with a little clubhouse, right? Free coffee, gated parking that already exists. Throw some barbecue pits in there, make it really cool. Have, Friday afternoon, on both in Wichita and Buckhead, Friday afternoon, from 5:30 to 6:30, wine and cheese on the veranda somewhere with the light music or whatever it is, right? Gathering, come bring BYOB, listen to some great music, meet your neighbors. These are the communities that we want. And when you find this, the heavens open up and the angels start singing and rain, and heavenly rain falls upon you because you found the trifecta. You're looking at areas that have huge job growth, right? Wichita has tons of job growth because as aviation grows, as health grows, as tech grows, this economy is going to grow as well. Huge value adds. Absolutely. Thank you, Shaka. Absolutely. So all of these things, the economy is growing. There's Cargill. Cargill is one of the largest grain manufacturing companies. They have their headquarters downtown. And if you look at the map of where our property sits in Wichita, you're going to see it's walking distance to downtown, walking distance to the stadium, walking distance to all the art galleries, museums, the science center. It's literally a 5-minute radius from everything. Then they have this beautiful river walk. Now, Buckhead, our property, is right down the road from the Atlanta Design Center, across the street from the Artist Gallerias, Class AAA product. Around the corner, our Class A multifamily. And we're coming in and we're going to give a facelift inside and outside to this property. And there are 2-bedroom units in Buckhead at this property that already have granite countertops and were redone. They're paying $1,500. We can easily take that rent to $1,900, $2,000 easily without doing anything to that unit. There are other units that are still in the 1960s original phase that are going to require us to go in there and knock everything out. And then we can charge $2,000, $2,500, $2,250 for that unit and make it a smoking place for young professionals to come in and really be in the heart of where everything is happening, but not have to pay the price for being in the heart of the center or in the center of the heart, whatever it is, right? You guys know about it. That's how you can identify when you've got a good project, right? Location, timing, comparables. What are you going to do to it? What is that journey, right? A lot of people are buying properties at a very low cap rate. That's okay, as long as you can justify that journey and where you're going to take the property. Are you starting rents at 300 and you're going to take them to 800? Are you starting rents at 800 and taking them to 1200, 1300, 1500, going to 2000? What's the journey that the property is going to take? Now, these two assets, the journey is incredible. Class A, it's only a 6-year-old property. It's a baby. Repairs and maintenance are very minimal, right? CapEx, minimal. So all we got to do is get in good management. My management company is going to manage that asset, right? In-house management. We have our other partner who's going to do his property management in-house on Buckhead. So everything is done in-house. We're not going out. So we have the thumb on the pulse of both assets in both markets. And we're going to go in these incredible location, give people a great product so that they can be proud of, bring in the young professionals and just ride that wave until people start buying in these markets and until we increase the net operating income and jack everything up. That's what our plan is. And that's how you can identify when you're out there looking at new markets and new neighborhoods. This is how you can identify what a good deal is. Does anybody have any questions that's been watching, listening, chiming in? Shoot them up, shoot them on Facebook, shoot them anywhere you got. Let me know what questions you have on anything that I've discussed, that I've talked about, right? So how do you know it's a good deal? Well, there's a story behind it, right? Developer owned it. He's gone through with it. The owners owned it for many years. We approached them off market. We've been building a relationship with them. They decided to finally sell after negotiating with them for 2 years or talking to them for 2 years, building that relationship. It's in the heart of a Class A neighborhood. It's right in the downtown area, across the street from a $120 million redevelopment property. All of these things, right? It's a story. There's an incredible story and the upside. You can see the upside. You don't have to guess. You see, if you have to make the numbers work, then the numbers will never work. The numbers have to work from the get-go. The numbers have to work, and they have to be, you have to look at it and say, okay, I see it. I understand it. How do you ensure that the game plan will be executed as you underwrote it? That's a great question. Nothing is guaranteed in life, right? That's why we have a PPM and we get our investors to sign off saying that this is a risk, right? So you do it. Now, how do you ensure the game plan? Well, first of all, you underwrite conservatively, right? If you're going in and your rents are, 800 and market, and I'm going to exaggerate for purposes here, and you want to increase, or you got a C-class property and you want to, and you got 118 units and you say, you know what, we're going to renovate all 118 units in 12 months. That's a little bit aggressive. That's aggressive. But if you underwrite it conservatively and say, you know what, we can do it in 24 months, maybe even 24 to maybe between 18 to 24 months as leases come due. Some people will want to renew. Some people want this. There'll be issues. But if you do it conservatively and you add in a buffer in your numbers, then you'll pretty much hit your numbers. What you should also do is maintain constant communication with your on-site manager. We have weekly calls with our property managers. All of my property managers, whether I manage the property, whether my partners, their company manages the property, or whether a third party that I'm a sponsor on manages for us, we have a WhatsApp group, and we're in constant communication with the property manager. Every week, we make sure that we get the delinquency report, vacancy report, our Monday morning report, activity, rent roll, all of that, right? That's that. But before that, when we're going in and we're creating our business plan, like I said, we want to be conservative. So if we know that we can hit $2,200 on a 2-bedroom, you know what? Let's say 2,000. Let's go in there and say 1985, 1,900, right? Let's be a little bit conservative. Let's take the average. Let's not to take the highest amount, but let's be conservative. I would rather tell my investors that they're going to get anywhere between a 15 to 20% return on investment per year and give them anywhere between a 21 to 23%. Because now I look like a god. So that's how you ensure the game plan. Plus, you have to be boots on the ground, or you have to have boots on the ground. You got to know the market. You got to know all the risks. You got to know the property inside and out so that you can minimize the risk. By minimizing the risk and by minimizing surprises, you can ensure the game plan will be executed as we underwrote it. You can't be, you can't skim out on, for example, I see a lot of people coming and sending me underwriting models, financial models, and I see that they take repairs and maintenance and they cut it in half. They take vendors and they, subtract a quarter of it. And I ask them why. Well, we can do better. How do you know you can do better? And I say it in all sincerity. How do you know? Do you have a property in the area? Do you have vendors that already work for you? Just cutting it in half by saying we can do better. Anybody can do that, but you have to prove to me why you can do that. And I always look at it that on day one, you're pretty much going to inherit all of the expenses that the previous owner had until you can start making your adjustments, finding better vendors, doing things in-house, finding better maintenance team, better property team, better management team, right? Until you can do that, right, you're going to inherit their expenses. Now, if their expenses are high, you have to understand that, right? And you're going to have to inherit those and put those numbers into your financial model and then wean those numbers out and bring yours in. And be conservative on your numbers and always have communication with your property manager and always go over the financials and make sure that your property manager has your budget, and every month they give you a comparison, budget and comparison. And like this, the property manager and the property management company, they know exactly where you want to go. Because a lot of times you buy a property, if you don't tell the property management company what you're doing, they're just going to manage it. Rent for rents, they're going to lease up at that rent. But if you tell them, hey, look, this is what we're doing. This is the game plan. This is when we have to do it by. Now they understand. Now everybody's on board. Now all you have to do is manage the manager. And that's where your asset manager comes in. I hope I answered your question, Shaka. Great question. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. And guys, do me a favor. After this, go to the Traveling Investor YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, watch my videos, comment on them. I want to help grow my following because my goal is to help 1 billion people achieve financial freedom and get into their first multi-family deal so that we can all hang out in beautiful lake houses like I'm at right now. Shaka, another question coming at you. What are the steps to take or identifiers that is the right time to sell? It's 3 times when you sell the property before the initial holding period you predicted. That's a great question. That's a great question. So what are the identifiers? Well, some of the identifiers is you see everybody selling, cap rates compressing. You hear people talking, it's a seller's market, it's a seller's market, it's a seller's market. Now, if you're in the right market and it's a seller's market, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start getting calls from brokers. Hey, you want to sell? Hey, I've got a buyer. Hey, I've got a buyer. Then you ask them, well, what's the purchase price? Right? What are you looking at? Bring me, give me a number. Then you go back to your underwriting and you look and you say, okay, Where are we? We're in year 2 of our business plan. Where are we compared to our budget, to our pro forma? Where's that offer? Now, remember, a lot of times people do not take into consideration their prepayment penalty. It's huge. I just paid $2 million on 2 different assets to our lender because we sold before the term was up and we had a huge prepayment penalty. But guess what? We did it anyway because the returns were ridiculous to the investors. We're in a seller's market. And there were unsolicited offers. Better to sell now when things are crazy than to hold it and to wait way, way longer. So that's what you got to look for, right? You have to do your market research. What are the sold? What's going on? You have to know what your comparables, right? Are properties selling for? Are C-class properties selling for the same cap rate as A-class properties? You know you're in a seller's market. It's time to sell. I hope that answers your question as well. It's a great question. Great question. Anybody else? Let's see. I'm looking here on my thing over here to see if I have any questions. Okay. So, I want to share something with you, something super exciting that's going on with me. The original shark, Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, just became a business partner of mine. And we're now going out there and we're going to do deals together. Kevin Harrington, the original shark from Shark Tank, and my team and I are partnering up. He's not just a paid sponsor. He's actually a partner in the company. How awesome is that? And he's in it because he believes in us. He likes what we're doing. He likes our success. He likes everything. And he's the type of guy that has tons of success. And now he just wants to help other people succeed. And that's why we resonate, because my goal is just like his, to help 1 billion people achieve success. 1 billion people. Yes, Shaka, it's crazy. Paying all those prepayment penalties, it is crazy. Absolutely. But my goal is to help 1 billion people, and I need everyone to help get the word out. Okay? That's why I want people to go to my YouTube channel, because I'm going to be posting a lot more videos, a lot more content. All right? There's still a ton of content on there, but I'm going to be posting more content for you guys so that you can learn how to get into your first multifamily deal. And then me, Kevin, and my team, we're going to go out, we're going to put on these huge ass events, and we're going to have a great time. And we're going to teach you success philosophies. We're going to teach you success mindset. We're going to talk about real estate. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship, and it's going to be phenomenal. And Kevin is going to be there. It's going to be awesome. It is awesome. I am super jacked, super jacked. So if you guys want, so those are the 2 different assets that we're working on, and the reason why we're working on them. And remember, this is not a solicitation. I'm not soliciting these offers. It's just these are the 2 projects that we have. However, the Buckhead, the Atlanta Buckhead, that's a 506C, which means it's accredited only, accredited investors. So if you're an accredited investor and you want to get in on that deal, come on over. The other one is a 506B, so I cannot offer that on here. I'm not offering it. It's a 506B. It's for people that I have a pre-existing relationship with. So it's not, I'm just using these 2 as examples of what to look for. Why are we going to these specific markets? Why are they hot, right? What's building them? They have good government, good local government that understands that job growth is key. Wichita, #1 tech center, #1 for job growth. And last night I had my my weekly group coaching or weekly mastermind group, and we talked about a new market and how we found that new market, or how we talked about that new market. I was actually the one sharing with the group about the specific state and why I think it's a great market. And then we started to research it live during the mastermind call, and we found that it was the number one place for growth in the US where people were moving to. And it's somewhere that you wouldn't even think of. Okay. And that's what these weekly masterminds are for. So if you're interested in that as well, hit me up, DM me, go to YouTube, go to Facebook, message me. If you want to join that weekly mastermind group, it's the information that you get there will make you millions. I promise you. I can't guarantee it, but I promise you. Okay. All you got to do is put in the work. So two completely different locations. Both cities are hot, right? Two completely different assets. One is a C, B plus asset, right? 1960s, has been renovated already. He's going to go through another phase of renovation in an A plus location. Other asset, A property, 6 years old in an exploding market that is right downtown on the Riverwalk. Both can have rents raised. Class A doesn't need any work done to it. The Buckhead one is going to go in for a complete interior renovation. And the returns are going to be phenomenal. Phenomenal to our investors. Because what we're doing. Another reason why, or another way to look at value or the good, or is it a good market, is because, well, I'll give you an example. The Buckhead property sits on 4-point-something acres. Now, depending on what you want to build, a high-rise or garden style will determine the value of the land. So if you're going to build, right, if you're going to build a high-rise, that land is going to be worth way, way more. So high-rise, I think right now in Buckhead is going anywhere between $20 to $30 million per acre. On a low-rise, on a garden style like we have, it's going for around $11 million an acre. We have 4. Just the land itself is worth $44 million. We're not paying $44 million. We're about half of that. But just to show you the land value in that area, this is another factor for us. Why we like it. Okay? It's as if, let's say, if I told you, I don't know if you know Miami, if I told you there's an acre of land in Brickell, right, or South Beach, let's say, when South Beach was South Beach, an acre of land for $1 million. You'd flip out because you're going, oh my God, an acre of land in South Beach is going to go for 10, 12, maybe even $20 million, depending on what you can build on it. Probably even more in some areas if you can build those super high condos, right? That's how you know. That's how you know what's going on, right? So anybody, any questions about finding the right markets, about the different types of assets, the opportunities, what opportunities lie with different types of assets? Any questions on that? And if not, then we're going to cut it short today. Well, I've been talking for 35 minutes. It's not so short, but I want to thank everybody for being here. Great question, Shaka. Phenomenal. Thanks everybody for being here. Do me a favor. Check me out on all my social media platforms. Facebook, Twitter, Messenger, LinkedIn, TikTok. I'm there. Go to YouTube, subscribe on the Traveling Investor YouTube channel. And if you want to join the weekly masterminds, hit me up. Be more than happy to send you the application. I'm only looking for a certain group of certain mindset people, right? People that give rather than just take. So, guys, thanks so much for being here. I'm Nitzan Mosery. Remember this. It's not your fault that you were born poor, but it is your fault if you die poor. It's up to you. The only thing standing between you and success is you. I'm Nitzan Mosery, the Traveling Investor. I'll see you next week somewhere on Spaceship Earth. Take care.